Welcome back to the Kick and Post YouTube channel and podcast. I am your host, Amal Thompson, and I am with Saylessk K. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. Just finished a new Dynasty draft. Got some more lunch money to take from these kids. But
Oh my gosh, lunch money, eh?
hey, it's like clockwork at this point.
Confident.
When you win so consistently, it might
Confident.
look ugly at first, but just know we have a plan. So
Confidence.
got a plan.
Superflex, Titan premium. Your typical boosts, right? 30-yard catches, 40-yard catches. Is it 6 points per passing touchdown or 4 points per passing touchdown?
I believe 6.
Okay, 6
Don't
points
quote
per
me on
passing
that,
touchdown. We'll
but
see. We'll revise. Right. But the keynotes: Superflex, Titan premium, 1.5 points per catch. We're gonna hop into this and we're gonna go. I say team by team. We'll assess teams instead of assessing rounds, right? Because there's value, there's trades, but we'll go team by team based on how the draft fell. We're gonna start off with Darth Burden. Give me real names here because I don't know real names.
I don't know these guys.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're going by Darth Burden for the 1-1 pick. And he starts off with Bijan Robinson at 1-1. Come back around to 212, James Cook, 3-1, Brock Bowers, Brock Purdy, 4-12. So let's start off with the first 4 picks. Obviously in Superflex, you're looking at 2 quarterbacks going off fairly early. At the 1-1, he had his choice of Gibbs or Bijan. How do you feel about the decision there? Kind of a throwback to the draft coverage we did years ago, huh?
Not what I
Bijan
was
or Gibbs?
expecting,
Yeah.
but it's something I would have done. And he's smart because it's a tough call. In most super flex drafts, definitely in the startup, quarterbacks are like hotcakes. Like usually the first 2 rounds are full of your cornerstone players. But real ball knowers know that that's not necessarily needed to win. And you probably have a better chance filling out your roster when it is tight end premium, when you get those bonus for big plays, when you fill it out with big time players. So I was actually upset that I wasn't my position. You got Bijan, you got Browers, you got 2 cornerstones. Just don't move those guys. You can figure everything else out. So
I'm not the
I
biggest James
think
Cook fan, but
I'm
at
not either.
212, I'm not mad at that. But he was the top 5 running back last year. So
He's been pretty consistent for about, 2-3 years now. So put the name aside, he'll never be his brother, but he is a really good NFL running back. And I still won't buy him the James Cook. I got offered years ago for free at this point, said no, and I'm not mad about it. But stats don't lie either. He should have same amount of production this year too. So it's like with those 4 picks alone, it's like I think his team is like clearly a contender compared to like other people.
no,
in
for
the
sure, he
league.
made the right picks. I feel like at the right times. Brock Purdy or 412, especially if it's a 6-point passing touchdown setting. That is where he lives. The wide receiver room is not looking great, but the offensive scheme is going to be very similar to what it's been his entire career. And if he's still playing in that scheme, he can still be successful in that scheme. So I'm not overly worried about him as a producer. Looking at guys he could have gotten at that 412, you're kind of just at the mercy of whatever's coming back around. But the quarterbacks that went in the 5th round, Mendoza, Murray, Love, I'm taking Purdy over all of those guys. Potentially, and I know I don't want to get too emotional with my takes, but I'm very high on Kyler Murray this year.
Let these boys
Yeah,
know. I got so much trash for that.
I
We'll get to
can't
that.
talk about how high I am on Kyler Murray this year, but even with how high I am on being with Kyler Murray being the starter in Minnesota, I think Purdy's still the right pick at 412.
Yeah, Purdy's
Because
the right
I'm
pick.
gonna be a little bit egregious at what round I'm willing to take Kyler. I'm gonna be egregious with the offers I give for Kyler in Dynasty because I believe in him this year. But realistically, the price point is still that in a startup, back
Like
end
you
of the
said,
5th, 6th,
you,
7th.
you had a 4th round pick. Don't guess.
Yeah.
Purdy's going to be top 10. Kyler Murray should be top 10, hopefully with top 5 upside.
He shouldn't be top 10. Based on the Kyler Murray we've seen the last few years, it's a dart throw. But we've said it in other videos. Better coaching.
It's the bias leaking out.
Better
I saw
weapons.
what Sam Darnold walked into and did.
Yeah.
I'm expecting baseline for Murray, you know?
For sure.
But definitely bias for sure.
But just looking at Darth Burden's team, first 4 picks, I'm not mad at. I think he did a great job right here. Luther Burden at the 5-1. That's projection. that is pretty significant projection. Um, I'm looking around at wide receivers, and Luther Burden went ahead of Rome Odunze. Luther Burden went ahead of Lad McConkey. Luther Burden went ahead of even somebody that I'm not a huge fan of, Zay Flowers. Luther Burden went ahead of Waddle, and we have like 2 Luther Burden games that we're going off of, and that receiving room is still very loaded in terms of how many mouths need to get fed. I am not loving the reach, but as a guy who likes to invest in who I believe in, I understand where he's coming from if he didn't feel like that person was coming back around. Based on everybody else who went, I think that person was coming back around. I don't know if the hype is there yet. Am I wrong? Because I'm not in the drafts with the
The
ADPs
hype
yet.
is there. The
Okay.
hype is there. He's, from what I've been hearing, a lot of people are putting him over Rome based off of those 2 games we saw last year. But at the end of the day, one was a second round draft pick and one was top 10.
And a healthy Rome to begin the year was on fire.
On fire.
So, I mean, he's not just going to go nowhere. I don't feel like it's a situation where
He's the guy.
where somebody's being
Like,
supplanted. Like DJ Moore leaves, yes, the room does lighten up a bit. But DJ Moore leaves, not to be mean, not because of Luther Burden. It's
no.
because when Rome
Moore
was
was
healthy,
gone the whole time.
when
Yeah.
Rome was healthy, he ascended, right? So
You
doing
understand?
that
That's
as
their
you will.
game plan the whole time, is
Yeah.
to build around Rome, not to take anything from Luther. He can be a great 1B,
Yeah.
but his plan is not to be the 1A. Can he be that? Could, but that's not in the plan.
No.
So it's like, I see your point. Like, you could have got him on the way back, but especially in those early spots in drafts when you have like that turn on the 1 or the 12,
Yeah.
you're kind of put in a position where you have to reach for your guy if you want him.
1,000%.
Because you got to wait 22, 23 picks. Yes.
I get it. Like I said, not my
no.
favorite, but if you're projecting that he's going to be the guy, I still think you would have been a 6'12". I just think it's too early. That's where I am with it. But 6'12" Marvin Harrison, you're talking about a guy who his name value alone might, people got burned last year, but his name value alone could elevate him a little bit higher than that. I'm not mad at him at 6'12". I feel like you kind of flipped your values there. Like you were able to get somebody who you could sell higher than the 6'12" at the 6'12". 2 big games, Marvin Harrison's a 3rd round startup pick. If he starts the year hot, you could really pivot, or you've again locked in some value there. And then Judkins at 7'1", that's amazing value. That's fantastic value.
Yeah, snipe me on that one too.
No, like nuts. Judkins probably finishes the year ahead of that projection. I could see Judkins being a better performer than Harvey. I could see Judkins being a better performer than Scatterbo. I could see Judkins being a better performer than Josh Jacobs. I'm looking across the list. He could ascend past all these guys. He could outperform Breece Hall. No, that sounds crazy, but the way they use him in Cleveland, the games he played, healthy, same thing. Top performer. So I like, again, he's locking in some great value. And I'm not a Sam Darnold guy, but Sam Darnold at 8'12" in passing touchdown settings, not bad. Not bad. I could dig it. I could get with it. Right? So first 8 picks, I think he's doing a phenomenal job. My only gripe was Luther Burden. Now we had 9-1, 10-12, 11-1, 12-12. Jordan Addison at the 9-1, Josh Downs at the 10-12. If Jordan Addison could get out of his own way, I think he's in for a nice season. I don't think the volume will necessarily be there, but I think he'll have opportunities to have a decent red zone season, to have the big play ability, you know what I mean, to connect downfield with Kyler. And I think this Minnesota offense is going to be explosive. Again, I'm a little bit biased, but I think this Minnesota offense is going to be explosive. You're going to be able to see multiple receivers break out in this offense. Josh Downs is a volume monster, and you feel confident enough to let Michael Pittman leave, and Alec Pierce is not going to turn into a possession receiver overnight. Alec Pierce is a bit underrated, but you're a guy who's going to be your easy completions, Josh Downs and Tyler Warren. So 10-12, I love the value, right? I this is going to sound a little bit crazy, but the Josh Downses of the world, the Wandale Robinsons of the world, they're really going to be a big piece for fantasy this year, especially if you play PPR. Those guys are going to be there for your 7 reception, 70-yard games. And if they could sneak into the red zone, sneak into the end zone specifically, great value for where you're getting these guys in drafts, right? Eli Stowers at 11-1. We're back to the reaches.
I think that's reach.
I'm a big Eli Stowers guy. 11-1. So we'll look at guys that we're passing over. The potential starter, which age and contract, I can see if you want to, you know what I mean? Like the startups with Trey McBride and Zach Ertz. Trey McBride was going before him. I know I keep using that analysis, but that's where my mind goes, right? Brenton Strange, there was some injuries, but broke out last year. But he's in a tight end room with 4 other tight ends, so maybe you don't love that. Isaiah Likely is the one that really sticks out to me. They pay him, they go get him. And we've seen big boom games in passing offenses that are a lot less heavy on the passing offense, and he got signed by his old coach. So there's an investment level, there's a comfortability in that offense. Everything else past that, Kelsey's if you're going for win now, you know? I guess the more I look at the pieces, the real egregious one to me is the Isaiah Likely pick. Not going that round. But I can't be mad at you. If you're projecting, I get it. In every rookie draft I was in Dynasty leagues this year, you caught me at that 1-8 to 112 range. Eli Stowers was an auto draft for me, the entire back end. Right? So I'm a believer as well. It just seems a little bit weird to see him ahead of names like Isaiah Likely and Brenton Strange to me currently. But I do think the ceiling could be higher once things kind of get flowing in the right direction. And I still believe he could get some kind of usage. Jacoby Lane is all projection in that offense. And I look at guys he could have gotten. I guess at this point, like, get your guy, but
Yeah, back in the draft, it don't
yeah,
value's still there, but at the end of the day, just get your guy.
get your guy, right? I mean, there's guys I like a little bit more for safety, but if you're looking for like, I guess, top end value, you potentially finding Lamar's new one, I can't be mad at it. I'll probably go like a Khalil Shakir back here though. If I'm already taking the stab at Luther Burden up that high, I want some guaranteed points on this back end. I need some guys who, if my stab at Luther Burden doesn't go how I plan it, if Marvin Harrison Jr. doesn't ascend, I at least have some guys I could plug in for 15-point games till I make some deals, till I flip some stuff around. And then he went heavy on the rookies. I think he's is there a taxi squad on this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think he's supplementing his taxi squad in this back end. So Stowers would probably be taxi squad, Lane, Coleman for Denver, which I think his usage is going to be up and down, but you have Dobbins, who's never healthy, and RJ Harvey, who hasn't figured out how to really hit the hole since he's been in the NFL. So anything could happen there. Don't hate it. Katron Allen, that offense, especially the backfield, there's nothing there that worries me necessarily. Like if he has a good offseason, he could be last year's JCM. Like ascending really fast up draft boards. The coaching staff falls in love with him. And then Rachaad White's a pass catching back. And like the JCM experiment didn't go as planned. So not a bad pick that late. Chris Brazzell for Carolina, Tennessee receiver. How do you feel about him at 15-1? Get your guy for sure, but how do you feel about him as a prospect?
I don't feel any way, but I've been told he's a sleeper. I've been told he's that guy. I checked the film a couple days ago. I see something. I don't know if it's going to translate, but he did look a little different on tape. So it's just a landing spot. Like
I'm just not in love with it. Tennessee receivers, not to put a brand over him necessarily,
don't do this.
but
Don't do
like
this.
I see a lot of Jalen Hyatt. I see a lot of speed,
No, don't do that.
straight
Don't do that.
line. I mean, I watched the game against Georgia, and that's his best statistical game last season. And watching him live and watching how those plays went down, it didn't scream like elite receiver. And I think draft stock also shows that to a certain extent.
100%.
Right. So
I'm not saying elite receiver, but he could be an elite gadget guy.
Go get your guy. Right. We're the 15th round. I'm not gonna be back here really mincing like, oh, you're really jacking it up in the 15th round. You could win a league in the 15th round. you're definitely not losing your league in the 15th round. Where you lose your league
Yeah.
is those top 7 rounds. If you're not
I think,
locking in good value in the top 7 rounds, you could bomb your league.
yeah, and I think with that pick, it's more of like like you said, just rolling the
Yep.
dice. I want to say he went to the Panthers, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like, who's the receiver two over there? And it's Jalen Coker right now. But like, even as he's had his woes, he's had his injuries. So there's
I
always
think
been
you
like
could
a
supplant
revolving
Xavier
door.
Legette early.
You could, but it's
Yeah.
like a revolving door. Like, it's not cemented yet, is the answer. So
No, for sure.
I think it's worth the gamble. See what happens during training camp, see if he can emerge. But there will be some point throughout the year where he has a chance to have more opportunities in that role,
No, for sure.
So
Jaden Blue,
that's fine.
intriguing, but like it's whatever, right?
So it's over.
Right here, Chris Bell, huge Chris Bell guy over here. I love Chris Bell. I know the injury to the ankle really set things back. He was a monster in Louisville, and if you talk about opportunity, that wide receiver room is wide open, wide open. So again, at 17-1, that could be a pick that pays dividends. Not mad if it doesn't work out, but fantastic if it does. Same with Skylar Bell. I thought his potential as a wide receiver was extremely high, right? But landing spot, not amazing, and the investment level, not amazing. But he is a route guy. He runs his routes very crisp and clean. Good after catch as well. Plays bigger than his size would suggest. And you're talking about it, the 18-12, sign me up. And then a little Debo dart through at 19-1, not mad at that. Debo goes to Las Vegas, that 19-1 pays back immediately. That wide receiver room, not crazy, right?
Yeah, I'll let the
He
try
just
out for
needs
them
to,
boys.
right? He just needs to
At
go
this point.
somewhere that there's opportunity. If there's open targets, he could, I don't want to say feast. He's not going to be like a top 20 receiver, but like a flex play, a matchup play, he could be that. And you getting him in the 19-1, love it. Love the value there. This team, pretty sharp. I like it a lot. I like that draft so far. That to start off at the 1-1, I hate that pick spot in most drafts. He definitely did a better job than I could have done in that little range, I think.
Yeah, I think he stuck to his strategy and also lucked out by how the draft was progressing because it allowed him to have more range of options, especially in
Mm-hmm.
those early fours, like killed that. So after that, like you said, you got flexibility to get your guy, play around, roll the dice, and still have a strong base to go off of for this year. So
1,000%,
doing
man.
pretty good.
I like it.
So
Let's swap over to the 1-2. Both guys implemented the same strat, starting running back to back. So 1-12, I mean 1-2 and 2-11. Gibbs and Hampton.
yeah.
Gibbs at the 1-2 is an auto click. Or Gibbs anywhere in that 1-3 range, I should say, is an auto click. The top 3, perfect. Bijan, Gibbs, Chase. That's the top 3 in any style of draft, I feel like, this year, personally, unless it's an extremely high QB scoring league. So I'm not mad at Gibbs 1-2, love it. Hampton 2-11 is projection. I think the line is supposed to be what it's supposed to be this year. What they expected last year, it'll be that. Go ahead.
It's his year.
Yeah.
I just want to put that on record.
Yeah.
I think, were you with me hating on Hampton back when we were
Yeah,
doing
when we're doing the draft prospects, I wasn't. When I watched him on film, I was looking. I was like, but we talked about it even back then. We didn't do a video on it, unfortunately. We were slacking back then. But when it comes to hitting the hole, he has that. When it comes to top end speed, he has that. He could catch the ball out of the backfield well enough, and the line, the draft spot, draft location matters, and the Chargers line, based on what they paid for it to be, was the perfect marriage for a running back like him, right?
Yeah.
And this year's supposed to be that, barring any health issues for him and that line, right? And then you add in a person like Mike McDaniels to coach the offense. The schemes and how he could be utilized out of the backfield, especially as a pass catcher, exponentially raises his draft value. And I think getting him at 2-11 is fantastic. Personally, I'm looking at the back first and of the draft, right? And I'd argue he should go above Kenneth Walker. I'd argue he should be in that range. Like,
I think they're
yeah.
close,
I think
but
they're
no
close.
cigar.
Yeah.
Like it's A B. I think they're both going to be in the same category. I
Yeah.
think Hampton's ceiling could be higher just based off of previous Kansas City running backs. As great as they're going to be, they're going to move the ball around.
Yeah.
Like they're going to go sign
The
MVS
volume
off the
won't
street
necessarily be there.
again.
Yeah.
Like go give him a touchdown or two. That's just their style of play with McDaniels and the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure I know where they're going with that line once they get close. Like,
and if we're talking value as well, I feel like Hampton at his age and less usage in the league so far is going to hold value a little bit better if he booms this year, more than a Kenneth Walker. I mean, it's a 2-year age gap, but one guy kind of fits the mold of what you're looking for in a running back a little bit more. 6 foot 220 over a 5'9" 211 back, right? Love K9, but measurables, landing spot, holding value. Think Hampton has the win in all those three. We go Pickens 3-2. Love that pick as well. 1A, 1B in a Dallas offense that's going to be throwing the rock around. That defense did not get exponentially better, got a little bit better. Caleb Downs and my UCF alum, Malachi Lawrence, coming to that team in the first round. I don't expect them to be getting blown out as much as they were last year, but they're still going to rely on Dak to move that ball. And Pickens on one side and CD on the other. Dak should be your passing yardage leader, and Dak could potentially be your touchdown leader, and Dak could potentially be the MVP.
all right, no.
Anywho, love the first 3 picks. Now let's hop into the quarterbacks he hit back to back. Bo Nix and Fernando Mendoza. I love value as much as the next guy. I'm not taking Fernando Mendoza over Kyler. Again, I'm high on Kyler. I'm not taking Fernando Mendoza over Baker Mayfield. I'm not taking Fernando Mendoza over Jordan Love. I'm not taking Fernando Mendoza. Go ahead.
I'll be quiet for now.
Yeah,
Go
we'll
on.
wait.
Go.
We'll wait.
No, I'm good.
I have my projections. I think Cam Ward is going to be elite this year, but
He will.
that's a toss up because Cam Ward was not elite the first year. Here's the thing: I'm not taking Fernando Mendoza over Bryce Young. Call me crazy, but I'm
You're
not.
crazy.
Okay.
I'll say it. You're crazy.
I'm
You're
not
crazy.
taking him over
Mendoza's
Bryce
that
Young.
guy. Mendoza's that guy.
Again,
Why am I the only one vouching for this guy?
I might not be as high on him as other people are. But the one thing he's going to hold value with, which I will say again in a keeper league or Dynasty, is this Dynasty or keeper?
It's Dynasty.
Okay, because it's a keeper by the dozen. It threw me off. Fernando Mendoza is the 1-1 in a team that invested that in him with no talks of them ever moving off that pick. Strong belief. He's a winner. Mature for his age. I think he holds the position. And if he fails, it won't be an immediate, let's look to the next guy. He'll get an opportunity to be surrounded by pieces before they completely write him off. I think that holds value. So if you're drafting based on value, I see it. It's just hard for me to look at the team that he started off with and then look at 2 guys at quarterback. One coming off of a serious injury that's still recovering and depends heavily on mobility, and then a question mark who might not even win the starting job. It's just hard to see. Because, like, let's say Fernando does not win the starting job. Who's his other Superflex quarterback? I'll help you answer that question. Carson Beck at the 16-11 or Cade Klubnik at the 17-2. That's leaving the draft. Now, obviously, there's been a trade. He turned Fernando Mendoza into Jaden Daniels.
Oh, it's pretty good.
This team has gotten exponentially better really fast. This team has gotten a lot more stability, quote unquote. We don't know what type of Jaden Daniels we're getting back, but who's the starter in Washington? Is Jaden Daniels. There's no question marks if he's healthy, right? So now you don't have to worry about that. Go ahead.
I just want to address this now since I know these words me watching, but the trade was Fernando Mendoza, RJ Harvey, 2 seconds.
Yeah.
For Jaden Daniels.
Yes.
There used to be a world a couple years ago during Jaden Daniels' rookie year. That summer after, this man was the 1 of 1, was 1 of 2 in all Dynasty formats, getting drafted over Josh Allen, over Jamar Chase, even Justin Jefferson before he started falling off.
Yep.
So for you guys to think this was like a bad move, a bad trade, it's pretty fair. Because as I said, what Jaden Daniels is now, or what he was, is what Drake May is right now. And you got to sell your house to get Drake May. So
Yeah.
just understand there's progression, there's levels. You guys are new to this, but it's a fair trade. So
it's a move in, like, I'm making that deal probably 10 out of 10 times
for which side? For Daniels?
to get Daniels.
1000%.
Yeah.
Pro tip for Dynasty: if you can get a cornerstone guy,
Yeah.
go get a cornerstone guy.
Yeah.
They don't grow on trees.
They don't.
You go get them.
And we've seen the breakout, and I don't think what he does is an easily correctable, like, defensive adjustment. I think he's still going to utilize his legs very well because that's what he does. They're going to utilize him in that way coming back from injury, because he didn't really injure his legs. It was all upper body. I feel like the wide receiver room is still light, but with his movement, he'll be able to find some open holes and still do what he does pretty well out there, right? I have more faith in him coming back than Bo Nix coming back this year, especially from a fantasy perspective, because I think the Denver team is more constructed to win without Bo Nix, banking on that defense, banking on, some slight schemes that they could utilize to kind of hide Bo Nix's inability to run early in the season potentially. While if they bring Daniels back, it's all go with him being the guy. That defense is still very lackluster over there in Washington. They're going to need him to score points. So, like you said, his ADP is in that range for a reason. Like, he's still one of those guys, right? It's not just a my take or a Chris take. The industry's kind of in on him as well. So I'm not saying it's a great trade. I just think it's great value on the Daniel side.
1000%.
Yeah.
Like you said, outside of Mendoza, a lot of question marks. And now there's no question mark.
No. You ride
You
into
have your
the
guy.
season with Daniels and Bo Nix. I mean, I still would try to acquire a third quarterback if I'm this team. And you have players you could, honestly, if I'm him, I'm acquiring a third quarterback, or I'm immediately addressing wide receiver 2. But we'll get to that later. You go RJ Harvey, who's no longer with the team. Fine. But at the 6'11", I don't hate the pick. I will say I would have 100% hit Judkins before Harvey, though. 10 out of 10 times I'm hitting Judkins over Harvey. And I'm a UCF guy. Again, missed opportunity to come talk about my boy before the draft, but nobody was as high as RJ Harvey in the world. Obviously, there was one guy higher than me on RJ Harvey, and it was Sean Payton, right? But like,
yeah, way too high.
I was a RJ Harvey truther for 2 to 3 years, and I'm still taking Judkins over Harvey at this point in time. Kyle Pitts at 7-2. I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even want to talk about it at 7-2 in the tight end premium. This is the one tight end in tight end premium where it doesn't matter that it's tight end premium, because when he goes ghost, he is ghost. You're not getting receptions. You're not getting yardage. He's a boom or bust tight end. Now, we want to believe Kevin Stefanski is going to unlock the kid. We want to believe it. Njoku went crazy. Harold Fandon went crazy. We feel like it's going to be schemed towards him.
It will.
I need to see it. I'm sorry. I need to see it.
No, you need to believe it.
Nope. I've done the believing. I need to see it
now. You've done it for so long.
I need to see it now.
No,
it's over. I need to see it now. Right? Kyle Monangai at 8-11. I like it. I still think there's a world where he could supplant DeAndre Swift. Chuba Hubbard 9-2. Don't hate it. But here is where I would have been deep diving into the wide receiver room a little bit, because you go Kyle Monangai, Chuba Hubbard, right? The only receiver we have is George Pickens, and we did not hit any late round vets from 10-11 to 13-2. How many wide receivers are we starting in this league?
I think 3.
If it's more than one, this team is missing some serious scoring. Like, that's the issue. We didn't go a tight end that we believe is going to be the guy day one, or maybe we do believe. But if we believe that, I got a beach house property in
Don't do
Montgomery,
that.
Alabama to sell you.
No.
Okay, if we believe day one he's going to be tight end one, okay,
Yes, yes.
okay, right. But we go look at the rest of the draft, and at 8-11, we could have gone. Golly, it's ugly. But I'm going Wan'Dale Robinson over both Monangai and Hubbard because I need points at the wide receiver position. I don't love Sutton, but I'll probably go there over a Chuba Hubbard based on team need. I don't need Chuba Hubbard. I have Gibbs, Hampton, and at the time Harvey and Monangai. I need a wide receiver at that spot. And I don't believe Chuba Hubbard's going to keep the job all year. But that's a story
Watch your
for
mouth.
another day. He can. The guy
will.
he's competing with hasn't been able to play 3 full games in the league. So get it. But like, we need wide receiver scoring. Is a Xavier Worthy 4th year breakout coming? Is how long has he been in the league? I'm not even trying to be funny. Yeah, 4th year.
Not that.
Why are you laughing?
Yeah, that's 4th year breakout is crazy.
It's happened.
You're not wrong.
It's
I
happened.
believe in Xavier Worthy.
I don't, but it's happened.
I'm a glass half full kind of guy. So it's like
What Michael Beasley
seen
say? You arguing glass half full. I'm arguing glass half empty. The glass dirty. That's all I'm here to tell you. We looking at the facts. The glass dirty.
No. Okay.
All right. And Xavier Worthy ain't it. It ain't it. If it was a time he was supposed to show me he's it,
you got me.
He had the opportunity last year to show me he's it. And he showed me that he ain't it.
Yeah.
Right? So it's tough, right? If we're projecting Concepcion, cool. But that's a rookie with the draft capital, but we don't know what that offense is going to look like. And they take a wide receiver literally like 7 picks later. Like, that's tough. Rashid Shaheed, if you get returning yards, then cool.
No.
Does this league give you returning yards? No.
I don't think so. No.
Where it gets sneaky is the Clemson receiver that went to Washington, Antonio Williams. I like what I saw talent-wise. I like what I saw talent-wise. And you enter a room where you're fighting with Treylon Burks. And my bad, Luke McCaffrey. And who else? There's one other person there. I don't even remember.
I know who you're talking about.
There's one
Terry McLaurin.
No. Obviously, he's the wide receiver one. Shut up. Who else am I talking about? Well, Terry McLaurin.
We said Luke McCaffrey already.
Yeah, we did.
And then we had Trey Burke. And then the other guy left. He went to Philly. I think you're talking about.
I'll just scroll down here. Here we go.
I don't think there's another
Jalen Lane, Van Jefferson, Luke McCaffrey, Nick Nash, Ja'Cory Brooks, Jacoby Jones, Chris Hilton, Jaden Bradley. I feel like I played Madden too long, and then they just started throwing players that they created in there. Because half those dudes I didn't know were in the league, right? Oh, yeah, my bad. De'Ami Brown and Treylon Burks.
De'Ami Brown, that's the guy.
That's the guy.
That's the guy.
I think he's very talented. I think Antonio Williams had the talent to be an earlier pick. He just landed in a bad draft for him. But he's, I think, the second most talented wide receiver in the room.
Yeah, and I fault myself for this. If I watched the film before drafting, I'm taking him a lot earlier because it's really a free job. He has no competition in that room.
Zero.
Outside of Terry.
Zero.
They don't have a tight end. Like, they just signed Chig.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I love Chig. It's on wax.
It's on
wax.
But
knowing Jaden Daniels, I've seen him throw to a lot of guys. He's just a ball knower. Like, he moves the ball.
He does.
And with Antonio's skill set, and he's like shifty, and he runs his routes, he's gonna be open. Like, they're gonna put 30 up a game. Like, it's a high-powered offense. So it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. I believe in that case. And that's why I'm upset, because I didn't know about that man until yesterday.
Oh.
And so I tried adding him on in a trade, and then my boy was like, nah, I'm not moving him. And I was like,
you're like, what you mean you're not moving?
I'm like, what do you mean? I go check the film. I was like, oh.
That's what you mean. Yeah.
That's what you mean.
He's kind of one of those ones.
I'm like, I know it's a weak room. You just will get a little sprinkle on the trade. No, he's going to be a guy. So I'm not saying this year's Puka Nacua, but I also wouldn't be surprised if he was this year's Amon St. Brown.
You went.
That's all I'm
Hold
saying.
on. Hold on.
I'm
I'm not
saying.
saying he's wide receiver 1 overall in fantasy, but he might be wide receiver 3 overall in fantasy. What are you talking about?
I'm just saying, like, I could
Hey,
see him being successful, and I wouldn't be like, oh, like, where this guy came
let me
from. It's
say
like,
rookie year. Let's say
I
rookie
could
year
see it.
Amon-Ra, where you're like, okay, this man's catching some passes.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on a second. He keeps getting open. What's going on
Well, that's
here?
what I mean by that. Puka's
How'd we
rookie
miss?
year
Yeah.
was that guy.
Yeah.
Amon's rookie year was like he could be that guy.
Yeah. Like we
He's
might have missed.
getting there.
It's
Yeah, we
crazy
might have
that the person we
missed.
projected to be the wide receiver 1 in that draft ran slow at the combine, and now he's not the wide receiver 1 in that draft. And then look who's the wide receiver 1 from that draft. Football, not played in a straight line. Anyway, Dylan Sampson. I'm not mad at it. 14-11. I'm not mad at it. Another dart throw that people should look out for is 15-2. This guy kind of knows ball. Damon Claiborne. He played for
You got to put me on.
the Wake Forest Foresters. I'm kidding. I don't remember the Wake Forest mascot, but he played for Wake Forest. In a running back room with injury-prone Aaron Jones and a Jordan Mason, who we know what he is.
Oh,
very.
Jordan Mason's good.
He's
Hold up.
good. He's good, but he's not like overly shifty. He's not a great pass catcher. He's a good running back
It's
for
a
what he
good
does.
NFL running back.
For what he does, right? I could see Damon Claiborne carving out a role if injuries occur. So it's a good stash. That's all I'm saying. Go
Okay.
watch the tape. He was a fun little player at Wake Forest, and I could see him again getting touches. That's all we're at this point in time back here. Yes, you could take dart throws at guys and hope that they supplant roles or skyrocket. But if you're telling me Damon Claiborne or who we looking at back here? Damon Claiborne or Gunnar Helm?
Yeah, I plead the fifth. I
Right?
don't even know.
Damon Claiborne or Pat Bryant. If I need running back, running back, which this team kind of didn't really, but you know what I mean? Like I'm probably still going with Damon Claiborne. And then he took 2 stabs at quarterback, Cade Klubnik, Carson Beck. Now hear me out. Not a fan of either quarterback as a prospect in terms of just straight up winning a job. But
there's no buts.
But Jacoby Brissett is holding out for a better contract, rightfully so. I'm not going to start at quarterback for 1.5 mil. You got me messed up. I'm not doing that. Change my contract. If the holdout stands and they go pay raise, you're Jacoby Brissett. Somebody stumbles into a starting job with 3rd round capital in an offense that we believe have weapons. So I'm not mad at Carson Beck at 16-11 because Jacoby Brissett also hasn't been the healthiest quarterback in his career. And you're telling me at 16-11 I have the guy who's right behind him? Go ahead. Well, I think actually, my bad. I think he's quarterback 3. Isn't there? Yep, Gardner Minshew there. Yeah.
Only reason I don't like that logic of weapons there is because I saw Desmond Ridder play quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. So that's all I guess. Not to say that Beck is better or worse than Ridder.
I think Beck will play his role a little bit better than Ridder because the one thing that Beck has over Ridder is a little bit better of that accuracy factor. Ridder was a gamer. Ridder was a runner in college. He realized that the athleticism didn't really hold up in the league. Carson Beck has been primarily a passer of the football from the pocket. Not overly strong with his arm. You know what I mean? Like,
so if you had to compare him to a veteran, what would you say his game should resemble?
Jared Goff light.
Light?
Yeah.
So what, like an Andy Dalton?
Andy Dalton light.
Okay. It ain't bad. Then.
Like less.
All right.
Like less than both those guys. But again, we're talking 16-11 here. Am I taking Carson Beck? I mean, there's guys I would take stabs at because I have guys that I believe in. I think we'll get into this team, but Ted Hurst at 17-4, we're going to look back at that and be like, damn, that's where he went?
Yeah, I think I actually took Brissett after he took Carson Beck.
No, you got Brissett at 15-7.
Really?
Yeah. which that is value. If he starts, that's insane value. Kate Kludnick 17-2. I'm not
I
a
like
Geno
that.
believer, and
Me
things
either.
coming out of camp are sounding good. And what do the Jets have to lose? Nothing. So they will trot that man out there in a
It's
heartbeat.
actually a win-win for them because if he's
Yeah.
good, great. If not, even better.
Yeah, even better. Go out there and do your thing, Cade. Thomas, Xavier Thomas out of LSU going to Chicago. That is a room that is already full. Love the kid. I think he's a decent prospect. It's hard to see you get that value early. I think you are expecting something from him that's not there yet. We have to see how things shake up, but I don't think there's enough ball to go around for him to get his touches. And then Mason Taylor 19-2. I'm not mad at it. I mean, he had one or two big games last year. But brother, they go and take Sadiq in the first round. It's telling you where their mind's at with tight end.
Yeah.
Unless they're planning to go 2 tight end sets, it's
No.
Sadiq mainly.
It reminds me of Michael Mayer.
Yeah.
Phenomenal athlete, great tight end prospect, but
Mm-hmm.
then, Brock Bowers came through and he just
No, for sure.
disappeared. So not to say the talent isn't there, but like you said,
Yeah.
they're not gonna go to him. They're
They're
gonna
not
have
gonna
to
go
wait
through.
for a trade, move, new signing, then you can come back up.
I agree. Now let's go to Super Scat Bro. First 6 picks, I'm not mad at. I mean, of course, I have things I'd prefer, but I'm not mad at. We're looking at Jamar Chase,
Oh,
Joe
yeah.
Burrow. It's all you
Yeah.
need sometimes. So that's amazing. Follow that up with Patrick Mahomes 3-3. I need to find out what regimen they have him on because they're saying he might start the year. Don't know how it's possible. Don't know how they made that happen. But yeah, Patrick Mahomes 3-3 if he starts and they ask him to be a passer of the football, it's a great pick. I think his role is going to shift slightly. So yeah, Kyron Williams 410. He's the
Doesn't throw up.
starter. He's the starter. He's the starter. It's nothing that I'm like in love with. But he's the starter in an offense that scores a lot of points. I see that becoming more 50-50 as the days go on though. Don't want to say it out loud unless Bobby's watching.
Say, don't tell Bobby that. I was about to say that.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Wow.
Sorry, I had to respond to something real quick. Loveland at 5-3 in tight end premium. I think he has the opportunity to be what the first drafter predicted Luther Burden to be. A big focal point in the offense, a lot of volume. And if the volume's not as high as projected, 1.5 points per reception for tight end, it's going to make Loveland worth it. At the 5-3, not mad. Youth, first round draft capital, offense that believes in him, breakout in the playoffs. All the signs are there. Cam Scatterbo coming off of injury gives me a little bit of concern, but Harbaugh being his coach, them not really supplanting the position with anybody in the draft. I think they believe that he's the guy, but don't forget that Tyrone Tracy's there, and before Tyrone Tracy got injured, they were splitting touches. So if we have a banged up Scatterbo coming into the year, I don't see how they don't split touches. Tootin.
Go off. Go off.
I don't think Tootin is going to produce at the 7-3 price point.
There's no way you just said that.
I don't think
Really?
so. Yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
I think
I'm so proud of you, bro.
think that we're looking at a backfield that will be a bunch
Abysmal?
of hands in it, a bunch of hands in the pot.
Yeah.
And I think the guy who's going to be the between the 20s guy
Lord.
is going to be LaQuint Allen. I will plant this flag till the season starts. You're going to see LaQuint Allen a lot. You're going to see a lot of LaQuint Allen. And Tootin's going to get the red zone usage, I think, for a decent bit of it. But LaQuint Allen's going to be mixed in down there, too. And there'll be a little bit of Chris Rodriguez veteran presence because we signed him for some reason, right? But Tootin at 7-3, I'm not willing to spend there when I could go a Dunze at 7-3, more at 7-3. even Brian Thomas at 7'3", even though I wouldn't spend that high necessarily for Brian Thomas. I'm probably not even a Brian Thomas guy in the 7th round this year. I'd take
Oh,
Fannin at 7'3". I'd take uh shoot, depending on my team construction, what's it called? Terry McLaurin at 7'3".
all right. I draw the line there.
Yeah, shoot. I'm just saying. Not my favorite pick, but I understand why. If you believe he's gonna be the guy, let's do that, right? Alec Pierce, 8'10". I'm a believer that he's a good wide receiver. So I'm not mad at that. I think with the chase at your beginning point, you go Alec Pierce, you follow it up with Wan'Dale Robinson at the 9-3. I'm not mad at those at all. Because you get a floor with Wan'Dale Robinson, and then Pierce could still give you those boom weeks. They're asking him to be a wide receiver 1. That might be a mistake. Or maybe Josh Downs take a lot of the ugly receptions, and then we get some Alec Pierce boom games. Okay with it. Quentin Johnston at 10-10. He flashed. He went back to being Quentin Johnston. I'm not a believer that Quentin Johnston is going to flash that much again, but we got to believe that Mike McDaniels is going to utilize him a little bit differently than he's been used to. Even though if I had to pick, I think the person who's going to benefit the most out of Mike McDaniels getting there is Ladd McConkey. Jaden Higgins, sophomore year, left a lot on the table from his rookie year, but not mad at it. AJ Barner at 12-10. I guess get your guy. There's a lot of red zone usage there, but you're telling me AJ Barner or any of the people that went after AJ Barner, it's really just a type of situation, right? I mean, there's guys that probably start over AJ Barner. I'd probably start Mark Andrews over AJ Barner, but I'm not mad at it. Zach Charbonnet, 13-3. If he comes back to full health, I can rock with it. Chris Rodriguez to back up your Tootin pick. Okay. I guess. I won't get too, you know what I mean?
The worst backfield in the NFL. Go ahead, lock that up.
I mean, honestly, maybe. I
It's
can't even.
there.
It's there, right?
Yeah.
Believe in the pass catchers in Jacksonville is all you're telling me to do. Go get
That's
your
your
pass
offense
catchers.
now. Yeah, go get your
Go
boy.
get your pass
A
catchers in
lot
Trevor
of high
Lawrence.
volumes coming out there.
Yeah. Malachi Fields, dart throw. If we believe that Malik Neighbors isn't going to come back to full health to begin the year or has to, ramp up, Malachi Fields is going to be the guy.
No.
I believe that Neighbors is going to be fine. I'm just saying, if you believe that they're going to have to take a little bit off his plate, I don't think he goes for 15 targets a game week 1. I don't see that, but
no, for sure.
Malachi Fields could be something. It's worth a dart throw, and he's going to go on your taxi squad. Kobe Parkinson, there are 6 tight ends in LA. I don't know who to pick. So just take your favorite one of these back end rounds. If you look through the round, 15 down, I think it's just scattered with tight ends for the Rams. I'm seeing Max Clare. I'm seeing Kobe Parkinson. Actually, a bunch of them didn't get drafted. Where's other buddy? I don't even see like the main ones. Anyway, we'll get into it. Elijah Surratt, 17-3. Again, if you find the new wide receiver 1/2 for Lamar in Baltimore, it's not a bad shout. Get your guys down here. Darnell Mooney, 18-10. He could be a factor too out there in New York. We saw him have a moment in Atlanta, right? And then kind of go cold. He could refine. He could regain some of that confidence. And then you go your alleged handcuff of Gibbs, Pacheco, at 19-3. He's not gonna be Gibbs if Gibbs get hurt, but like, it's whatever. If you believe this Detroit offense is gonna be good, Pacheco could be a usable player if Gibbs goes down, which you're really hoping Gibbs does, right? And I think we should break this up into parts. Let's do the first 4 teams.
I was gonna say 3 because my headphones phone about to die.
Okay,
so
let's split this up in 3s then. So we'll go. That's the first 3. If we're gonna rank the first 3, I'm going team 1 as my best team out of the first 3 so far. Probably in order, it's gonna be team 1. Then I'm probably going team 3. And then I'm going team 2. How do you layer the three of them?
Pretty sure I would go in order 1, 2, 3, and that's only because of the trade after.
Well, yeah, I
Um,
forgot to even factor in the trade. The trade
that
does make
and
an impact.
on
Yeah,
top of, even though I love Cincinnati, I love my boy Chase and Joe Burrow,
yeah,
but it's the riskiest stack in the
it
sport,
is
brother.
ridiculous. Yeah,
It's the
riskiest stack.
riskiest that you got two options. It's either championship
Hmm.
or first round pick.
And it's
Like,
tough. I forgot to even mention that team three does not have Patrick Mahomes.
yeah. So,
So yeah, it's definitely 1, 2, 3.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that team. Even though I'm high on Cam Ward, which is who they acquired, which we'll talk about that trade in the next one. Tune in for the trade talk in the next one. But Team 3 gave up Patrick Mahomes for a 2027 first and Cam Ward. We need to talk about it.
that trade was worse than the Jaden
Correct.
Daniels trade, and I
Correct.
didn't even see it because it was during the draft, so it just
Hmm.
had draft picks,
Yep.
which is like looking at it now, got fleeced, but you could argue both sides. I
You
could
could
argue both
argue, but I
sides.
mean, I'm high on Cam Ward. So, like,
If that's
yeah.
me, I'm getting Mahomes all day, every day of the week. If you offered that to me, there's no shot in hell you're getting Patrick Mahomes for that cheap. Why'd you even draft him? Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing? Like, so we'll get to it, but I think it's 1, 2, 3. So
Yeah. I'll go 1, 2, 3 once I adjusted. And this has been the first three teams in the keeper by the dozen Superflex Dynasty League. Again, confused me a little bit. But it seems like the guys know ball a little bit. I'm excited to kind of break down the other teams,
yeah,
go over what I like, what I don't like. It's been fun watching these ADPs. I can't wait to get back into drafts, and I can't wait for you guys to be along for the journey, for us covering drafts, covering best ball drafts, and on Underdog. I'm trying to get Chris on the Underdog wave so we could take advantage of a couple of these ADPs. As kick and post hosts, we need to go out and win this best ball league mania. Top
oh,
prize over $1 million. We need to at least submit one roster each to chase it
too easy.
because we know ball. We know ball,
Actually,
man.
you know what? You just convinced me with that. I didn't know it was
Exactly.
like that.
We
I didn't
need
know it was
to
like that.
we need to
Okay.
get in there and just again. Some of these ADPs have not adjusted yet. You know what I mean? LaQuint Allen is undrafted in these leagues,
Stop with that.
so
If we
we need
go in on this, we're not drafting LaQuint
we need to
Allen.
rack it up. We need to rack
Not
it
getting
up,
LaQuint
baby.
Allen.
We need to rack it up. Just like we're gonna wrap this video up. So appreciate y'all tuning in. Thank you guys for the new subscribers. I think we gained like 8 over the last 2 months. We're giving you everything: MMA content, NBA content, NFL content, fantasy content,
I
all of
forgot
it.
about MMA. Your boy Strickland.
I didn't take him to win, but he won.
I don't know. From what I saw, I looked like he wasn't supposed to win. I was gonna ask you about that off script. We'll get, you know what? We'll get into that.
I'm
We'll get
doing
into
a
that.
review Thursday morning, but we could talk about it definitely.
Okay.
But definitely tune into the video because I have my own take on that as well. But that was a good card. Again, we've been covering MMA for the whole year as well. Plus, consistently tune into me and Roger on Art of MMA. Tune into me and Chris for everything fantasy, NFL. More than that, possibly too. We just get on here and talk sometimes. Yeah, I know. We was going to talk Invincible on Seen It All. Tune into that channel soon,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Like we're going to
I
be
gotta get.
everywhere. We're going to be
Yeah.
everywhere and be
We are.
along for
We
the ride.
are.
Please like, subscribe, and share. We'll see y'all on the next one when we cover teams 4 through 6 and so on
Yeah.
and so forth. But until then, peace.